On to race number 4, 200 metres for a Class 4 contest here. Two debutants in the field as well. Regency Darling, though, with the blinkers off. Victor Wong will jump from barrier 10. It was a short-lived experiment. The blinkers were on first time last time. High Rev's been off since November. He's first up, comes in fresh. Blid number 2 makes his debut. Happy Alumni was 5th on debut behind Full of Beauty. Perfect pair. Coming out of that same race, finished 9th. Strathbarra on his debut for Tony Millard and Caris Teeton. Mr Magellan, blinkers on for the first time. We've got Gurdon Helmet, the blinkers off, chick pieces going on from barrier 2. He drops from the 14 down to the 1200.
There's quite a lot of young progressive type horses in this. Strathbarra, who's on debut, does seemingly have a fair bit of pace judged on his trials. We know Regency Darling's a jump and run. Blink of a second, probably not too far away, and Perfect Pair from barrier 5, again for Douglas White, probably to sit handy. High Rev's a horse that's got ability, he'll get back. If Happy Alumni ends up back there from 3, I think that's a loss of a good barrier. I'd like to see him a touch closer.
They put the blinkers on High Rev for a second start. It didn't work. They've taken them straight off again. They're putting the cross noseband back on instead. Thought it was a nice piece of work here with quadruple double. He's going really well at the moment. Quadruple double, that's High Rev closest to us, but they're still going well. In the morning with a stablemate. Happy Alumni went really well on his debut. Barrier 3 looks promising for him as well. Son of Starcraft, second up, but he looks like he's made natural improvement from his debut run, so if he lives up to his first start, he's going to run well once again. And here's Mr Magellan with the blinkers on for the first time. He's the one at the back. He's got barrier 12. It might make it a bit harder, but he seems to be slowly improving this horse, and this will be his 4th start.
All right, we're going to see him in action, in actual fact. He gets the blinkers on with Regency Darling, both of them finishing midfield on this occasion behind Midnight Rattler.
Yeah, Regency Darling was a bit average this day, but he can do this. Hard Promise obviously led, showed too much pace. You can see Regency Darling battling on, but I do fancy Regency Darling with Victor Wong on from 10. Probably can find the front here. Strathbarra might prove a little bit of resistance early, but I think if Regency Darling does find the lead, he's very comfortable in that type of situation. He won earlier on in the season. He'll give them something to catch for me. Yeah,
I'll put him on a minor line. Regency Darling, I think he can run OK.
All right, sorry, that was the Hard Promise race, not the Midnight Rattler one, which is Mr Magellan last time out. Happy Alumni on debut did this with Perfect Pair, cover some ground as well, so not a bad effort from him behind Full of Beauty.
Yeah, he actually jumped out of the gates quite well, Perfect Pair, and covered ground and just sort of tired, really, didn't he, with about 150 to go. But overall, I thought the run was good. Happy Alumni, he's hard to gauge, but judged on this performance, Paul, there does look to be an engine there.
Yeah, definitely. And from barrier 3, I think he can run well. He has definitely made natural improvement. So I found a place for Happy Alumni in my numbers.
You horsed followed him, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I had him in the numbers that day as well. I quite liked his track work going. It was a huge prize. But yeah, hopefully he can improve off that again. High Rev. Now, his first up effort was super. He was well backed behind Smiling Pride. Then probably a little bit disappointing next time. And that was back in November. Yeah,
they put the blinkers on him second up, and look, I don't think it works. So they've taken them straight back off again. They put the cross noseband back on him because they took that off and put the blinkers on. I like this trial leading into this. I think he's going to run well, and I think he's got plenty of ability this week.
He does. I can actually see why David Hall's gone back to 1200 too, because he's keen, he overdoes things. So 1200, they'll go quicker. It'll probably play into his hands a little better.
Yeah, this is Strathbarra winning a trial, but he has trialled down the field since.
He has. This was 800. Just pushed on. I think he'll match strides early with Regency Darling, but I'm just not sure about him in the last half of the race.
He's bred for a lot longer. You'll see the best of him, I think, once he gets over a mile plus. He's 12, 11 pounds, so he's quite a big horse. But no, I couldn't have him in this.
All right, OK. It is Regency Darling in a race filled with lightly raced horses. He's got a fair bit more experience.
He definitely has, and I've got him in the numbers, but I'm going to stick with High Rev. I've sort of been with him both his first 2 starts. He's always caught my eye on his track work. Blinkers come off, as we've mentioned earlier on, with the cross noseband going back on. I think it's a good thing for him. So he's on top to beat Happy Alumni. He did really well on debut, and I can see him progressing even more. Regency Darling in there as well. I want to add a lot of value to sort of exotics and whatnot is a Levante. The hood goes on him, the tongue tie goes on back on him as well. Peter Ho's now got this horse. He's only had the 3 starts. Hasn't done much on race day, but his track work's definitely picked up. 2, 4, 1 and 10.
He was noted closing off quite strongly in a trial as well, Levante, behind Blitzing, who runs later in the day. I think Regency Darling can snare the lead probably here with the £7 claim for Victor Wong, which is going to dissipate in the not-too-distant future, you would think, when he gets to that 45 wins. Can probably run them potentially to the wire here. High rev, I think, with 1,200 metres underneath his belt here, a faster tempo to run at. He'll give his backers a sight, particularly the last couple of hundred. Perfect Pair will come on for that run, and Happy Alumni as well. 1, 2, 6, 4. Not overly confident that'll be the order, but they're the 4 I'm working around.
Yeah, we've all got the 1, 2 and 4 in the numbers, so we're not too dissimilar there. But any of the others you think could jump out of the ground? In terms of the debutantes, so the other one, Blink of a Second, probably deserves a mention.
I think, yeah, and Mr Magellan with blinkers on and a strong tempo potentially to run at could be an interesting one. Just a reminder, of course, race 5 is the first leg of the TT, not race 4.
4 trials from Blink of a Second, 11.42, but I haven't been really taken. It's been pushed out in a few of those.
Yeah, showed a bit of early speed and then sort of weakened out of it late. All right, that's race number 4. As Brett said, race number 5 is the first leg of the Triple Trio, massive one as well. That's up next.